Okay. Poem for my daughter who did not give a fuck about the first half of this poem. There are words that rumble around my brain like a hive of rhinos, kettle of loose hornets, rats firestorming. They bumper car, break dance, and mosh pit, and then these words just shoot me down. Each tiresome random man I've introduced to my daughter later says to me, she's too pretty to be gay. Or did she have some bad experiences with men when she was a child? Or has she ever had a boyfriend? And I am seated with fresh knives and I become a drone over Russia. I'm a gun. I should be used to these words. They've been shot into my life since she took her first girlfriend to the high school prom. Yet each time, it's as if I've heard them for the first time. Each time, it's my first ride in the dark with a drunken boyfriend going 140 miles an hour. As that one time when a man said to me after the prom, she's still young, she could change her mind. I'm a sharpened knife, I'm mustard gas in World War I, I'm Hitler. And that's saying something for a little Jew from Albuquerque. Just imagine if someone told you your daughter will someday get over being short. Or she could do something about that curly hair. Or your daughter might be smart someday, just wait. Talk about my daughter and what she could be and how she might change or what different choices she may someday make. My chest explodes. My skin is ablaze. I'm a hidden colt in the pocket of that guy who shoots randomly in the nightclub. I'm an atomic bomb. I'm Agent Orange. These words are their very own unit of the United States Special Forces, and it's like they've been assigned to hunt me down and murder me and then gut me, pull out my mother heart and feed it to dark clouds of desert ravens like scraps. And I remind myself each time, just to console myself, it's just a bunch of sentences, little clusters of alphabet, petty thieves that snuck into the house of my mind, and I should not let them bulldoze and rake and skin and flail me to my root nerves, to this radioactive tenderness. Because every time one of these men speaks these words, I become the mother that knows her daughter's house has been invaded, who would make off with her choices, as if these things were silver candlesticks just stolen from my grandmother, and they think they can run down 4th Street to the pawn shop and sell them for $10. These men will take a queer girl's life and slice it into pieces, and then look at it under an electron microscope, seeking that moment when she lost her way from the great gift of penis, from what they see as the right path that only goes one direction. What broke her, they ask? What forced her to become a citizen of that country that would excommunicate dick? Here's what's crazy. My daughter would just laugh at these men. Another strikeout by queerphobic, ignorant, dumb shits, poor idiots condemned to live their lights out with their pathetic Jurassic brains, their small thoughts, their broken thoughts, they're small, small, small. They're tiny, tiny, tiny. They're archaic, they're old, they're ancient, they're ridiculous. But their assumptions never do bounce off me. They stay a cut that never scabs. Torn stitches on a fresh wound, that slap on my face at noon by the mean girl at Sombra del Monte Elementary School, where the sensitive girls hid out by the trash to share their poetry. And here comes the second half of this poem that my daughter would be down with, because she knows what I know, that the things these men say, taken to their logical conclusion, well, it's the very same view that assigns girls in some countries to live indoors, assigns girls and women to burqa and hijab, to covering up, to hide invisibility. It is as if there's something in these men that cannot bear to see an actual woman, to not have the right to define that woman. They'll take their agency in their whole lives and even the oxygen in their lungs and rearrange it. So today, when I see the girls and women of Iran rise up, disrobe their beautiful faces, step out of the straitjackets of their prison lives, and recite their refusal to be cloistered and wrapped, to scream back at a world that would keep them hidden and defined, imprisoned in cloth, and even behead them, I think of my daughter, and I swoon with glory, hallelujah, mother love. And I'm humbled and thankful every time I hear a woman speak up and claim their human choices to be themselves and pick their clothing and partner or gender, or simply claim their right to walk out into a new day, stunned by light. I see their courage, and I cannot help but think of the men who told my daughter She is too pretty not to want them. And this may sound reductive, but I'll call it as I see it right here. I'll say it right here in this poem, that for them, every woman's face is a threat. And the loose strands of beauty, the very legs that walk a girl at midday out of her house through a market of birds, is for them an unsheathed knife. A woman's desire for anything but men must be a mistake. And is it not so hard to occasionally leap to the thought that the chief problems of the whole shitty world have been manufactured by these very men and all their ilk, these men who behead a woman who says she wants to drive, a woman who wants to be an engineer, a woman who wants to show her face, who loves outside the male peninsula, who dares to say no, who dares to say yes, who dares, who dares, who dares.